Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here and that we're here together. Whether you're with your family or you're in your place by yourself, know that we are all in this together. In fact, if you're watching this live, there's a live chat feed to the side or the bottom of this video. Let's interact together throughout this service. Let us know how you're doing and what is resonating with you as we worship and learn today. Okay, church, let's worship.
Reaching out to welcome you, God. Fill this place again with your song. Flood our thoughts with wonder and awe. Give us a greater glimpse of a never-changing God. Whoa, and all we want and all we need is found in you, Jesus. Every victory is found in you, found in you. Sing open wide, our hearts now to yours. Every fear bow down to your love, that we would see like never before. You give us a greater glimpse of a never-changing God. Oh, and all we want and all we need is found in you, Jesus. Every victory is found in you, found in you. Everything we want, everything we could ever need. Oh, and in your presence, and in your presence, there is freedom. And in your presence, we are made whole. And in your presence, there is freedom. And in your presence, we are made whole. And all we want and all we need is found in you, Jesus. Every victory is found in you, it's found in you. And all we want and all we need is found in you, and Jesus. Every victory is found in you, found in you. All we want and all we need is found in you, Jesus. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can't go back to the beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring, but I know here in the middle is the place where you promised to be. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Oh. As I walk now through the valley, let your love rise above every fear, like the sun shaping the shadows. In my weakness, your glory appears. Oh, I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? Oh, 'cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Oh, I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Oh. Will you meet me here Not for a minute was I forsaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. Come, Holy Spirit, dry bones awaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. Not for a minute was I forsaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. Come, Holy Spirit, dry bones awaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? Oh, 'cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? sees me. Christ be all around me, above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Christ be all around me, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Christ be all around me, above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me, above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me, yeah.
Lord, we thank you for your presence. We thank you that you comfort us when we feel alone and lost. We can lean on you in troubled times. Lord, let your presence be felt in our homes today as we sing about you, as we sing that you are our refuge and our strength. Let your presence be felt all around us today.
Above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me, above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Christ be all around me, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Christ be all around me, yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us online today. Even though we aren't meeting in a physical location each week these days, we just want you to know that we're all meeting online in some capacity. Whether it's for Kids Zone, Bridge Youth, Young Adults, Life Groups, Prayer Ministry, or many other ministry areas, make sure you check out thebridgemarkham.com/churchonline for any and all schedules, or reach out to our staff who will connect with you right away. Speaking of connecting, if you're joining us for the first time and would like to know more about the Bridge, we would love to connect with you. In a time that we can't physically see you to say hi and start the conversation, we need you to take the first step, and then we'll take it from there. To start, you can email us at hello@thebridgemarkham.com or text connect to the number on your screen, where our Connections Pastor, Emily, will love to chat with you. You can also head to thebridgemarkham.com/new and fill out our connection form. If this is your first time joining us today and you fill out this form, we have an email gift card to Starbucks just for you. Church, we are so thankful for your continued sacrificial giving. In fact, we are celebrating the fact that through our Good Friday offering, you gave a total of, wait for it, $24,123. This is incredible. Remember, 100% of this is directly going to the needs of our surrounding community in these days of struggle, as well as to our refugee fund in helping families relocate to Canada. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving in this way. And you know what? Your continued faithful generosity helps to keep the ministry going in many ways, and even allows us to produce these meaningful and uplifting online services that we are so blessed by. We would like you to know that you can give in 3 different ways. You can give by e-transfer to give@thebridgemarkham.com, through our online giving platform, PushPay at thebridgemarkham.com/give, or you can send a check in the mail to our church address. Whichever option suits you best, may God bless you as you prayerfully and purposefully give to God's work here in Markham and around the world.
Finding rest, searching for peace, allowing our hearts to catch up with our lives.
Well, good morning, church. How are you this morning? I'm a little bit apprehensive because the last time I preached was Sunday, March 8th, and it seemed to shut down the church. Now, here we are. It's a bit surreal and it's a little bit weird, and I'm all alone in this room except for Pastor Jeff way over there. But I'm so grateful that our teams have stepped up to make this possible. And here's what I know about the Bridge. The Bridge has always been known for being practical and relevant and never afraid to lean into the hard conversations. And so this morning, we're going to tackle going from isolation to connection. Week 2 of Soul Detox. We'll talk about the problem. We'll talk about what breaks connection. We'll talk about what builds connection. And then we'll offer a couple of pathways. In 2015, researchers at the University of California at Berkeley announced they would be part of a $100 million project for space travel to see if there's intelligent life in the universe. The plan was to send tiny nanocrafts like spaceship butterflies traveling at 1/5 the speed of light to Alpha Centauri. Stephen Hawking expressed the purpose poignantly. He said, "It's important to know if we are alone in the dark." Now, you and I, are always constantly sending out tiny little probes, emotional nanocrafts to find out whether we're alone in the dark. It can be a question, a gesture, a look, a touch, any single expression that says, I might want to be connected to you. We are profoundly social creatures. Brene Brown, who specializes in social connections, says, a deep sense of love and belonging is an irresistible need of all people. We are biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. When those needs are not met, we don't function as we were meant to. We break, we fall apart, we numb, we ache, we hurt others, we get sick. Do you identify? Loneliness and disconnection seem to be epidemic. In 2019, 52% of the population sometimes or always felt alone. 52%. But listen to this. This increased to 65% of millennials. Weak social connections and the loneliness that results from it are associated with a whole range of things. Reduction in lifespan, similar to that caused by smoking 15 cigarettes a day. A greater risk of cardiovascular disease, dementia, and anxiety. A higher rate of stress and depression, weaker immune system with more susceptibility to colds and viruses. Isolation breeds everything from a loss of civility to aggressive driving. It reduces workplace performance and limits creativity. There's more dependence and addiction to drugs and alcohol. And a British study into the underlying causes of addiction concludes that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, but connection. Social pain is as real a sensation for us as physical pain. Vivek Murthy, a former Surgeon General in the U.S., says, "During my tenure as U.S. Surgeon General and my years caring for patients, the most common pathology I saw was not heart disease or diabetes, but it was loneliness." These are gut-wrenching statistics to hear. The realization of this massive epidemic within the epidemic we are currently experiencing was honestly overwhelming for me this week. But what it confirmed was this. It confirmed once again and caused me to be even more committed and adamant about what the writers of Scripture were telling us long ago. We were created for relationship, for connectedness, and fullness of life is lost without it. There's a phrase in the book of Genesis that is well worth noting. The writer sets this up carefully in the story of creation. There's this little refrain that keeps reoccurring. And God said, and it was so, and God saw it was good. And God said, and it was so, and God saw it was good. This is the song of creation. But then the song comes to a screeching halt. God creates man, a man in his own image who bears his own likeness, and God looks at the man and he says, "It is not good." Genesis 3:18. It is not good for man to be alone. Now, you have to realize the context of this. We're still in paradise. No sin, no disobedience, perfect intimacy with God. Nothing to mar the relationship. Every word spoken is delight and pleasure and affirmation. It's ideal. And yet, the word that God uses to describe man is alone and says it's not good. This is staggering. Even in church circles, when people are lonely, we will tell them not to expect too much from human relationships. We like to say that inside every human being is a God-shaped void that no other human, only God will fill. I think maybe you've heard it, and that is true. But according to the writer of Genesis, there is also inside the man God created a human-shaped void that God himself does not fill. No substitutes will fill this need in you for human relationship and connectedness. Not money, not achievements, not busyness, not even God himself. Community and relationship is what you were made for, created for. It's God's desire for your life. And it's the one indispensable condition for human flourishing. But it will not happen automatically. We are ones who tend to break connection and block connection. So let's look at what that is. First of all, self-reliance, being self-sufficient, doing it on my own. Self-reliance cuts us off from learning from others, from receiving from others, and ultimately cuts us off from relationship. There's no one to even turn to in trouble. Isolation breeds self-reliance, and self-reliance concedes to isolation. Solomon says in the book of Ecclesiastes that a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. And then second, we block any connection because we don't think we deserve it. We believe we're unworthy, inadequate. We believe we are too messed up, too broken, too needy to deserve anyone's attention or affection. There's a pervading feeling of being unclean and unfit. Nobody will want me or accept me, and I have nothing to bring to the table. And shame runs rampant in isolation. And then these negative emotions, when they run wild, when we want someone to be our emotional punching bag, we block connection further. Proverbs 29:11 says, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." Awareness of what I'm feeling generally brings an awareness that I'm not my feelings. Isolation means we spend a lot of time in our own heads. We have to avoid getting lost in our negative thinking. When we begin to believe that we are not suitable or honorable, we can give in to rage and anger, and we begin to treat ourselves and treat others in a way which only widens the gap to the possibility of connection. Don't vent, connect. And then fear. If I had to identify one core variable that cuts ourselves off from real connection with other people, I would have to say fear. Fear of vulnerability, fear of getting hurt, fear of the pain of disconnection, fear of criticism and failure, fear of conflict, fear of not measuring up, fear of rejection. There's a young fellow named Jia Jiang, and to conquer the fear of rejection, he embarked on a personal quest and started a blog, 100 Days of Rejection Theory. He went and asked for and extended invitations for ridiculous things. He discovered this, that rejection can be much less painful than we believe, and that the fear of rejection is much more destructive than we know. Jesus was a master at connection and intimacy. His invitations were quite fearless in the face of risk and rejection. He asked a Samaritan woman to give him something to drink. He noticed a tax collector, the despised of society, named Zacchaeus, sitting up in a tree, and invited him to come down and join him for dinner. Throughout his life, Jesus pursued intimate fellowship with everyone from fishermen to prostitutes to tax collectors and even Pharisees. He risked being understood. He risked disappointment. He risked rejection. He risked his own reputation. Why? That he might identify with you and I. The truth is, if you open your heart to another person, you will get hurt. If you take a risk, you will know pain. But if you don't take the risk, you will never know love. Your heart might feel protected, but it will get colder and colder and colder. So if those things break connection, what builds connection? Well, first of all, I would offer to you that commitment is a first building block. It's not only if this is convenient for me or if this fits into my schedule next week. Commitment gives us what Lewis Meads, an author, calls a small island of certainty. Now, doesn't that sound wonderful right now? He says, how strange it is when you think about it that a mere human being can take hold of the future and fasten one part of it down for another person. I stretch myself into unpredictable days ahead and make one thing predictable for you. I will be there for you. Commitment is the bedrock of connection, because without it, there can be no trust. Without trust, there can be no intimacy. And next, vulnerability. Connection is about knowing and being known. Allowing ourselves to be known is to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Just come as you are. Warts and wounds, mud and mess. Now, not just fitting in, that's trying to be who you're not. to please someone else, but being real. That builds connection. Andy Crouch, an author on all things culture, says that vulnerability might be thought of as an exposure to meaningful risk. Being brave enough to live in the reality of the truth about ourselves. The Apostle Paul says in Corinthians, "Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices." No pretense, no hiding, no lying, no masking. And this leads us to empathy, the antidote to shame and unworthiness. The Apostle Paul says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn." What he's saying is walk in another's shoes. When we share joy, it increases. When we share pain, it decreases. I want us to watch this brilliant 3-minute video.
So what is empathy, and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, "I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed." And then we look and we say, "Hey, you can climb down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone." Sympathy is, "Ooh, it's bad, no, you want a sandwich?" Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with "at least." And we do it all the time. Because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So, I had a miscarriage. Oh, at least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, "I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just so glad you told me." Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
Wasn't that amazing and poignant? And that actually leads us right into our next building block, which is presence, the art of being with. In a daily bridge a couple of weeks ago, I introduced the idea of holding space. Holding space with each other is about presence. It's walking alongside someone without judgment, without making the other person feel inadequate, or without the need to fix or respond or comment. It's to donate your ears and your heart without wanting anything back. We accept and honor the reality. We open our hearts and we let go of the need to control. We trust God to be at work. Holding space and presence is so much about listening. When we listen more, we speak less. The truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection. You are not alone. There's a passage in Matthew 26 that shows Jesus inviting his friends to hold space for him. Jesus was very aware that he would soon be arrested. The cross was near. And he took his disciples to a place called Gethsemane. He told them that his soul was overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Jesus was very real. He didn't try to cover up what he was feeling. And as the passage goes on, during these final moments before Jesus would be tried and then sentenced to death, he spent them in deep emotional anguish, needing his closest friends to hold space with him. He just asked them to wait. He didn't need them to help him. He didn't need their counsel. He didn't even invite them to pray for him. He was just looking for them to be with him, to be present. And mutuality, our last building block. Connection and intimacy must be reciprocated. It's a two-way street. Love can and sometimes does go one way, but not connection. Connection must be a shared experience. It must be mutual. We both talk, we both listen, we both engage and share our lives. Otherwise, we're just two people who happen to be at the same place at the same time. Now, connection takes initiative. It can't always sit back and wait to be invited. Relationally intelligent people learn to overcome the fear of rejection and the fear of hurt and the desire for safety. And they take the first step. They take control of the thoughts that if I invite someone for coffee, they might not come. They invite them anyway. And as Jia Jiang would say, no is only a word. They choose to admit to themselves that they're afraid. So rather than, I really don't have time anyway, they take courage and reach out, because that was only an excuse. We're all in the same boat. We can be brave and afraid at the same time. Let's get past the inertia and the passivity. Let's reject the path of least resistance. And over and over and over, let's take the initiative to get connected. Our very lives depend on it. On the website, along with the DQs for this message, is an exercise to help you get a feel for your relational life. Check it out. But even without that exercise, you may know right now where yours stands. This crisis has brought so much to the surface. Some of you are feeling the impact of being alone in a home or maybe even a very small apartment weeks on end. Some of you may be realizing, maybe for the first time, that you really don't have connections where you feel known and loved and accepted. And maybe you were well connected and thriving, but not isolated and shriveling up like you are now. Isolation is impacting all of us significantly. Frankly, you can feel alone in a room full of people because connection is an internal reality, not a numbers game. You might have many acquaintances, but no depth of connection. Your connections might have been in the workplace or simply coming to Sunday service and sitting next to someone. And all that's gone right now. And you feel forgotten and alone. Or maybe you're living within a family that you feel disconnected from, and you realize that there is relational stress and dysfunction that is coming to the surface. These are hard days. Hard days. And I want you to know that I see you. I feel with you. In fact, our whole staff sees and feels the significance of what we're in. And we chafe at the reality that the pathways and the options to offer you are all reduced to a screen or a phone. And some of us just need a hug. But it's still important to start the journey to connectedness now, to be connected even in this state of isolation. And so here's some options for you. The Care Ministry is starting 3 online cafes this next week for those who are feeling socially isolated. 3 different days, 3 different topics of conversation. Check out the link on the bottom of the screen. And then next week also, Alpha is beginning for those new to faith or exploring faith. And that link is at the bottom of the screen also. And if you were previously in a life group and had to step away for whatever reason, give that leader a call and ask if it would be possible to connect again. And leaders, reach out and invite someone that you know is unconnected. Or maybe you can just simply pick up the phone and call someone. Maybe someone you might think is alone as well. Just take that initiative. And if you still feel completely bereft, please send me an email, send another pastor an email, and we will be sure to call you. Here's what I want. Here's what I want for me and what I want for you. I want to courageously step out of our fears, out of our self-reliance. I want to rest from trying to live by impression management. I want to let go of other people's opinion. I want to trust and be trusted. I want to know and be known. I want to be real. I want to have empathy and hold space for others. I want to have deep, authentic, life-giving connections. And I want that for you as well. But the problem is, we're all in hiding. And in order to truly live like this, someone who is fully real, truly safe, would have to enter our world and show us the way. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us, moved into our neighborhood. Why did God do this? God could have loved us, could have willed our good from a distance, but he wanted nothing more than to be with us, to show us how much he loved us. He wanted to have this intimate connection with us. And so God became human. He took on flesh to live and walk and share life as a man. He got close enough to risk rejection and disappointment. But he did it to have skin in the game, to model for us the necessity and the priority and the way of relationship and intimacy. A rich and satisfying life. Let's believe just a bit that this can be true. Let's trust the way of Jesus and just take one small step forward this week.
Hey, thank you so much, Pastor Karen, for a great word on community. Now, if you're looking for community this morning, or even after this airs and it's on demand, add a comment on this video, and we promise to be in touch with you as soon as possible. Let's keep the conversation going. If you need prayer at any time, please email us at prayer@thebridgemarkham.com, and we'll be in touch. Church, have an awesome week.
Well, hey Bridge family, Earl James here, the communications pastor here at The Bridge. And guys, we launched an app. We are super pumped about this, as this is going to be the easiest way for you to connect with us digitally and beyond. So go ahead and visit thebridgemarkham.com/app, and you'll find download links for your phone. Well, today I just want to take a moment to give you a run through on how to get the most out of this app experience. So let's jump right in. When you open the app, the first thing you'll see is this featured area. This is a collection of content we want to highlight for you. It's presented in a timeline fashion. You can actually see when content was added in the lower right-hand corner of the cards. This is a great place to start when it comes to discovering what's happening at the Bridge. At the top of this page is our most featured content, so make sure to especially check out what we have at the top of this page. To the top right of the app, you'll see this little person icon. Click on that icon and you can create a profile. This is a powerful feature. Within your profile, you can access any missed notifications, control notification preferences, and you can also bookmark content for easy access. Once we launch future features, this profile will become even more useful. Feel free to personalize your account by updating your profile and cover photo. Speaking of bookmarking, look for this icon throughout the app. By clicking on this icon, you'll be able to save content to your profile for easy access later. Explore the app further by clicking on the icons on the lower panel. The entire app experience is broken up into the 5 categories here. You can access further information about the Bridge under the More category. Finally, be on the lookout for notifications from us to you via the app. Notifications take you right to the content and highlight some of the most important things you should pay attention to. When you launch the app, you can set the type of notifications you would like to receive. So sign up for the ones that best serve you. While we are thrilled to bring this app to you and hope it blesses you and helps you engage further here at the Bridge. So go, download, and explore. Take care.